Good day, Madame et Monsieur, and today we're continuing with the Season 4 changes. No, it's not Kazuya, we already did that. Please click in this corner here to watch that video if you're interested in that. We're doing Kazumi Mishima. So yeah, she's white. So now after a quick switch, and we start off with her new move, which is Lightning Flash while running 1, or also instant while running 1. It's high move, which comes out 15 frames, does 30 damage. Gives a knockdown. It's quite good. It's similar to Kazuya's forward 2. On block it's +7, so it's safe. However, it is a high move, so it is duckable, so keep that in mind. On counter hits it gives a bit more damage, 36 to be precise, but the knockdown animation is the same. However, it is a plus 34. I'm not quite sure. I don't play Kazumi and the character is new, but I'm sure there's certain follow-ups which are guaranteed. What's going to be interesting is how people mix this up with While Rising 2, because one is a mid and one is a high. It's going to be interesting. Now let's get up to the actual changes. And what's happened here is that we have her rage her rage drive, forward 1+2. And they fixed an issue here where the second hit in mid-air sometimes didn't grant the same damage, so it's more bug fixing than a buff or a nerf. So now we have her generic 4. It's not listed up at the top because it's a generic tool. It's also like her primary tool, which she uses to fish for counter hits for her combos. And unfortunately this has been nerfed. And the damage on normal hits has been nerfed from 18 to 15, so that's going to hurt Kazumi's poking game for sure, and there are other things which are going to affect her poking game as well. Next up we have forward 3, and what's happened here is that they've increased the lower range of the attack. You can also press forward after this attack to go into Fearless Warrior. We'll get into Fearless Warrior in a moment, and yeah, this is just a little slight buff or consistency for Kazumi. Now let's get into Fearless Warrior stance. So during Fearless Warrior 3, and what's happened here is they've changed the opponent's behavior on counter hits. So now you get a knockdown animation, and you also get follow-ups. I'm not quite sure what those follow-ups are, and I'm going to be interested to see this move and the next move, what kind of follow-ups the community will come up with. But I've already seen people like do instant while running 2 afterwards, especially on the next move, which is the next move is during Fearless Warrior 1+2, and they once again it's the same thing, change the opponent's behavior when the move lands as a counter hit. So knockdown as well, and you're going to be able to get your follow-ups just like the other move. Now the last move in Fearless Warrior stances during Fearless Warrior 3+4. And what they've done here is that they've just changed the damage. It used to be, the first hit used to be 8 and the second hit used to be 20, and now they've nerfed it. The first hit just does 7 and the other hit does 20. It's somehow also her primary wall carry tool, so that's generally a nerf which will affect her total output. But I've also been told that it makes the move now is a bit more consistent in terms of picking up, so that's a buff definitely in that regard, but it's not in the official patch notes. Now we come to down 1, and what's happened here is fixed an issue in which the opponent could not buffer attack inputs when the move landed as a counter hit. So not the full string, just the first hit, and this is just a bug fix. It seems like you could like buffer moves, and now you should be able to, so that's like a buff, definitely. Now we have down back 3, one of her primary poking tools, and what they've done here is that they've nerfed the damage. It's gotten the damage nerf. It used to do 14, now it just does 12 damage. Speaking of primary poking tools, we have down back 4. This was nerfed last season in season 3 already, and now it's been nerfed again. On counter hit, this used to grant a combo prior to season 3. In season 3 it got nerfed. She only got a follow-up, and now it's been nerfed again. So on counter hit this time around, she doesn't get anything, just a bit more damage. It's still +4. It's whether it's counter hit or a regular hit, and that's a big nerf to Kazumi's poke game. Next up we have down back 1+2. And what they've done here is they've changed the opponent's behavior when the move hits. I'm not quite sure what that was. I believe it used to grant her a knockdown, but don't take my word for it. Anyway, this is what you see right now is what it now looks like. Now let's go up with up forward 3-4. Finally, some good news for Kazumi. And so what's happened here is they've increased the range of the attack, so it can hit from a bit further away. They've also increased the moves tracking, so it tracks better to the left and right. And this is the most important one, change the frame advantage when the move is blocked from -7, which it used to be, to neutral, so ±0 frames. So now it's more in line with Heihachi's one, maybe not as good, but nonetheless it's still more useful than it used to be. So now you should be seeing this move far more often outside of combos. So that's definitely a buff for Kazumi. Up forward 4, her hop kick, hop knee also got buffed slightly. They've increased the lower range of the attack, so I think it has more to do with like the season 4 consistency things which they've changed. However, I still think this move could have used a range buff. It really has a pitiful range. So then let's get into the next move, which is while running 2, which was mentioned prior with her new move. So what's happened here is that they've actually buffed the damage. It used to be 24, now it does 25. But yeah, the real buff with this move is that it can now be mixed up with while running 1, and that's going to be interesting to see what the professionals, pro gamers get out of it. So now we have while rising 3, and they've changed the startup frames. It used to have a startup frame between 15 and 16 frames depending on the distance of the opponent, and now those frame startups are now between 14 and 15. So now you could say as a Punisher, as a while rising Punisher, it's now a 14 frame, so that's a buff. It's definitely coming out quicker. Now let's get into her parry. First up, you're not seeing the parry being displayed because I couldn't find it in the command list for some strange reason. However, you execute the parry by timing it with the enemy's attack and pressing back 1+2 by itself. The move's actually been buffed and nerfed, so what's happened here is they've shortened the recovery time by 5 frames. So it shouldn't be as easily whiff punished anymore, however you still have enough time to do that. And then they've also shortened the time when the power crush ends by 5 frames, so it's active for 5 frames less. And then we have the situation when it successfully hits, or connects better said, and they've changed the damage. So there's like 2 hits in it, but the first hit used to do 0, and then the second hit used to do 30, and now the first hit does 5, so that gives you a total of 35 damage. So that's a damage buff. And then what they've also done is they've changed the startup from, yeah, this is going to be a bit confusing, 30 to 34 on the first hit, and then 36 to 81 on the second hit. And then they've now changed it to 25 on the first and 25 to 34 on the first, and then 31 to 76 on the second. And it's not really a buff or a nerf, it just means that the animation is over quicker, and I think that helps the flow of the game. That's all of Kazumi's changes. It was longer than I expected, sorry about that. Anyway, more content dropping soon. If you like what you see, consider subscribing, leave a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. Definitely leave a comment with your feedback, and this is your boy Jehuty, and I'll see you on the next one.